Well, hi everyone. First of all, thank you, Nicole, for this opportunity. I am super excited to talk about a topic that I'm not going to really share anything that's earth shattering, but I think it's something that a lot of people will relate to, just like Nicole just said before we hit record, that the summer months have been a struggle on and off for a lot of people, and I am no different. So in this call, the whole gist of the call is to really talk about persevering during the hard times. With the perseverance comes continuing to build your belief and investing in some personal growth. So I'm going to share just a little bit of my journey so far and some persevering that I've had to do myself these last couple months. And in kind of planning for this call, I was able to come up with, well, what is it that I'm doing now to try to come out on the other side? So I came up with 5 different things that I'm doing or things that I've kind of discovered on the journey that I want to share with you guys. So first of all, just to start off a little with my journey, I started with Plexus. Well, I first tried the products almost a year ago exactly. Erica gave me a couple samples. I liked it. I started taking the products. And then in October, I was curious about the business opportunity, and I knew that Nicole had just kind of jumped in full-fledged. So when I was in St. Louis, I said, hey, can you meet me for lunch? And asked her a lot of questions. And from that point on, I was just kind of all in with the business and with the products. And if I'm being completely honest, I would say, October, I was like, oh, okay, it's my first month. I got my first customer on October 31st. So nothing like the very last day of the month. And then once November hit, things just exploded for me. And I was just on this upward trajectory. Of course, I was working the business. I was posting on social media. I was taking the products. I was talking about it to people. But if I'm being totally honest, and part of it is I didn't know what working the business meant at the time. You're just kind of learning as you're going when you jump in the way that I did. But it kind of was easy for me. Of course, if the opportunity came up, I would talk to people. Of course, people saw my post and my passion on social media, but really people just came to me. People would message me, they would comment, and it was fairly easy for me to generate a good, solid customer base and a fairly high PV. And I was able to maintain that from November through April, and was feeling pretty good. And then May hit. And things just kind of came to a screeching halt for me. And I think some of it was I am a junior high principal. So May obviously is the very end of the school year, which comes with a whole lot of stress and chaos. And I think just that summer really hit me. And I struggled May and June. And as I was struggling, I have to say that, some negative thoughts started to creep into my mind. I started to kind of doubt myself in my journey. And I knew that I had to take a step back and figure this out, because for me, quitting has never been an option. Once I commit to something, I'm committed. So I knew I wasn't going to quit, but I also knew that I didn't want the sort of downward trajectory that I was on to continue and continue and continue. I wanted to build my business back up. So I want to kind of just talk about 5 things that I've been doing or discovered as I've been on this journey. I would say starting at the end of June, the beginning of July, to sort of really essentially rebuild my business. And just to give you an idea, in April, I think I was close to 2,000 PV. And at that point in time, I think I probably had, 16 or 17 people on my team. And my team continued to grow slowly, but I went from almost 2,000 PV in April down to I was just over 500 in May. So my business just plummeted for a lot of different reasons. People stop for a lot of reasons. A lot of people, it's, finances. A lot of people just never responded. So I have no idea why they stopped. But I could have continued to make excuses and let the sort of negativity just get the best of me, or I could do something different. And one thing that I learned is when you're not getting results that you want and your business isn't growing, it's time for you to examine yourself. It's so easy to kind of say, oh, well, people just don't get it. And I'm not going to say that I didn't do that. I know Nicole and a lot of people have heard just my frustrations, because I'm sort of an all-in kind of person, and I have a hard time when other people aren't like that. but most people probably aren't like that. But to me, if something's not going right, and I think this really applies to anything in life, but in your business, or if you're a wholesale ambassador or someone that's really focusing on the products right now, I think this applies. You need to examine yourself is where you need to start. So I have always been a firm believer in personal growth. I have started a personal growth journey as soon as I became an educator. And when I got married to my husband, the company that he works for is huge into personal growth and development. So that's always been kind of my go-to, my saving grace, and that's sort of what I fell back on. So what changes have I made starting at the end of June or the beginning of July to kind of put myself back on that trajectory? Well, the first thing is that like I said, I've been a big fan of personal growth, so I kicked it up a notch for my personal growth. So some of the things that I've been doing, you all know, because Nicole, a lot of us have our team pages. Nicole has her team page. We post YouTube videos and amazing videos all the time, whether it's information about the products, about the business, or just a little bit of inspiration. I kind of just immersed myself in those videos. For me personally, I'm really loving Emily Roberts. I kind of feel like we sort of have a similar personality, so I connect with her. She's a little sassy, and I like that. So I get a lot of inspiration from her. I really like Melissa Eichenhorst, and there are a lot of people out there. So just really jumping into those videos. I started reading more. I'm currently reading the book, The Halftime Millionaire, or Millionaire by Halftime. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Flaherty. That book is amazing. I love the book. I actually won it in a contest from Jen Hawkins. I've been reading that, and it gives a lot of really practical steps, and it's an easy read. And reading some leadership books by John Maxwell, which I've always been a fan of. So just reading more to build my belief. And the other thing that I did, hopefully all of you are on the Destination Diamond Dream Team page. If you're not, then definitely check with your upline and have them add you. But Celeste posts a lot of really great things, and several months we actually did a mindset challenge, and I'm going to be honest, I think I did half of it, and then I don't know what happened. I just kind of fell off the wagon. So I remembered it though, and I decided to not only go back and do the mindset challenge for myself, but to challenge to do it on my team page as well and to share. And that was a huge game changer for me. So I would definitely get on the Destination Diamond Dream Team page and check out. All you have to do is search Mindset Challenge and it'll pop right up. But I wanted to point you in the direction of one video in general that really resonated with me. And it was Sarah Marble. Who has a barking dog?
You guys want to mute your phones?
This is Noreen, and that's my little pet.
Can you mute, Noreen?
Huh?
Can you mute your phone?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. No worries. He's a happy guy, right? So a video that I wanted to point out was Sarah Marble. It's titled, and you can just go onto YouTube and search for it, How to Quit Quitting. Huge, really, really resonated with me. And she goes through and talks about, I think it's three different ways that you can quit. And, I really thought about that, and I can say that I've probably done all of those, not necessarily in this business, but in some point in my life. And it just really was a game changer for me and gave me that motivation of like, you know what? I'm not going to quit in any of these three ways. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to overcome, and I'm going to, come back a stronger person. And then also just continuing to participate in team calls. A lot of people say, I am doing everything I'm doing. You're probably not. And I wasn't either. If you're not tapping into the team calls, if you're not taking advantage of the information that is on the team pages, if you are not doing your income producing activities, investing in personal growth, then you're not doing everything that you can do to really get this opportunity is golden, you guys. So take advantage of it. So just investing in team calls, and we started doing some brainstorming sessions just within the past month. And that really kind of helped me get some new ideas. And, some people in a nice way kind of maybe pointing out some things that were holding me back, which I'll talk about in the next. So number one was kicking it up a notch with personal growth. Number two, and this is huge. Thank you to Ruth. I don't think she's on this call, but for pointing this out to me. We were having a brainstorming session, and like I said, it was a rough couple months, and I was just getting way too upset about the outcome of cold messaging and reaching out to people and the crickets chirping and the things that we've all experienced. And Ruth just kind of said a couple things that really resonated with me. The first one is sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, which is huge. And the second one was you just have to detach from the outcome. Not everyone, this opportunity is not for everyone, whether we're talking about the products or the business. And for a lot of people, it's just not the right time. And I was sending out those cold messages and really getting my feelings hurt, especially people that I consider to be pretty good friends, that they would not even have the courtesy to respond, and getting really worked up about it. And Ruth just said, you know, when I send that message, I'm over it and I forget about it. And sometimes when people respond, I have to look back and I forget that I even sent them a message. So from that point on, that's what I started doing, was sending the message and just detaching from the outcome. If they respond, great. If they don't, then maybe the time is just not right for them. So that was a huge game changer for me. And it's hard. It's really hard. I feel like I've always been a person that wears my emotions on my sleeve. So detaching my emotions from this is really, really hard for me. So I had to work at it. You know, sending that message, moving on, and we say all the time, bless and release, and just move on. And knowing that some of those people are going to come back. And also just trying some different approaches and getting different ideas. You know, maybe I need to change the way I'm saying it, or the message that I convey. Maybe I'm trying to give too much information that's overwhelming people. But just detaching my emotions was huge. The first thing, and this is something that's come about in the past couple weeks, is doing some self-reflection on my own health goals and my journey with the Plexus products. So we talk all the time about being a product of the product, but what I tell my team, and I needed to do myself, is you have to practice what you preach. If we're constantly putting it out there to people that they need to be mindful of their water intake, that they need to be consistently taking their products every single day and doing this, that, and the other, then we need to make sure that we're doing the same thing. And so I honestly was in a place, and if I'm being really real and vulnerable, I have struggled with body image for as long as I can remember. Finally, I think coming into my 30s is probably the most comfortable that I've ever been, but it's always something that's on the back of my mind and always something that I've struggled with. And I was kind of to that point where I'm complaining to my husband, you know, I don't feel good about myself. I'm in one of those funks. And I said to myself what I said to myself before, which is, okay, you can either sit here and cry about it and complain about it, or you can do something about it to change it. So reflecting my old health goals, again, just practicing what I preach. I changed my regimen, and I don't want to take up the call telling it, but doing the Slimming in the Sun challenge was a real game changer for me. Adding the new block, and that's been a huge game changer, and edge, and just tweaking and figuring out how much do I take and when do I take it, what's the right time of day that works for me, has totally, honestly, you guys, I feel amazing. I have lost 5 pounds in less than 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
And it's not just about weight loss, but we care about it. I mean, we say it all the time, and there's so many other things, but I feel amazing. So that's been huge for me, because I feel like I am practicing what I'm preaching to my customers. And the other thing was that I jumped back into my workout routine, and that serves a double purpose. Again, it's me feeling better about myself and practicing what I'm preaching, but you know, we all know that when we're exercising, it's releasing endorphins, and it just puts your mind in a better place. For me to really persevere and sort of get out of my head. I'm in my head way too much, and just move forward with the business. And then just making healthier choices, which that's why we're all on board with Plexus, is because it's a tool to help us make better choices. And what do you know? When you're actually making choices that aren't working against the products, you can really get benefits. So I felt like this is important to me because I've known for the past couple months that what I'm putting out there on Facebook and telling people is not what I'm practicing in my own life. So this might seem like, oh, it's not a big deal, but if your business is lax, or you might want to look at your own health goals. And if you're practicing what you're preaching, that's been good. I feel like it starts with me, and I need to set an example. And now I feel like I'm doing that, and I feel better about myself. Number 4 was, if my business was going to kind of, I thought, well, maybe I've tapped out my warm market. So instead of me focusing on building my business, which I'm still doing that, I've started pouring more into my team. I have a larger team now, and I'm really starting to wrap my brain around, the importance of duplication. But I want people to experience the financial freedom and the amazing things that I've experienced. So I've really started pouring into my team more. And some of the things that I've done is coming up with some new ideas for team contest this month. I'm so close to going gold. I just need people to not be white lined. So I did a 100 PV challenge that I would do a couple of drawings for every single person that attained 100 PV or higher. I also did a drawing and a challenge for people signing on new ambassadors, just to kind of build some of that momentum with my team, which then builds momentum with me, because again, I feel like I need to set an example. So if I'm going to put it out there for them, then I need to be working at the same level that I want them to work. The other thing is reaching out and making connections. Obviously, everyone that I personally have sponsored, I know them. I have a relationship with them. But my team is growing to where now I have level 2s and 3s that I've never met, and I do not know them. So within the past 2 weeks, I've been making it a point to reach out to them. I love the little Facebook Messenger, where you can just click on the microphone and send off the message. I love that. So just introducing, obviously I don't want to step on any toes, but just putting it out there, introducing myself. Obviously the person that sponsored you is a great resource, but I'm here as well. And I'm hoping to have a call set up with one of my level 2s who is like, I don't even know. She's just a rock star. And I have never talked to her. I don't think anyone's really coached her on the business. She's just doing great. And so setting up a call with her, because it's a lot easier when you have more people in your corner that are kind of running side by side with you. So that's one thing. And then another thing is, and I was just reading this in Millionaire by Halftime, and we've heard this a million times in Plexus, that don't ever prejudge anyone. That the people that you think are going to be your rock stars and are perfect with the business, a lot of times they're not. And the people that you don't think are going to be are the rock stars. And that's starting to really come true for me. And so one thing that I've had to do is kind of let go of a couple of people that they're just not ready right now to work the business at the same level that I want to. So I still check in with them. I'm still there for them. I still maintain a relationship, but that's not what I'm going to focus all of my attention on right now. So that's been a big kind of game changer for me too. And then the 5th one, and this is the one where I tried a couple things, maybe some things that some of you all can grasp onto, is just stepping out of my comfort zone and trying new things, or improving on kind of practices that I've already put in place. So of course, throughout my 2-month slump, I still was posting on Facebook and staying consistent with my business, because I knew I couldn't just let that go, but I also knew that I needed to do something different. So luckily, Nicole reached out to a group of us, and we started the IPA chat accountability, which I'm not going to lie, I've fallen off on that too. But it kind of, because I was like, oh, cold messaging doesn't work for me. I'm not doing this. But then I'm like, you know what, Tara, eventually you're going to have to reach out to people, because clearly people aren't just coming to you in droves. And so just trying some new tactics that have maybe worked for other people, getting on and watching some YouTube videos. If any of you are familiar with Ray Higdon, he has his own website. He is a multi-level marketer and does some training, and he sends all kinds of free videos. And one of the ones he did was on cold marketing. So just some different approaches and ways to reach out to people, and kind of figuring out, if this didn't work, what is going to work. I had also sort of written off giving out free samples, because we all know that cost us a lot of money. And I was sending them out to people, and then I would reach out and they wouldn't even respond to my message. So I kind of got back on that, because I need to see maybe who's watching my posts and interested, but I just don't know. And that, I think, is one of the biggest things that sort of got me back on this upward trajectory, is I put out there, I had a 3-day sample of Slim and Black. And so I was able to see who's interested. Obviously, only one person got that sample, but I sent out a couple of other samples. And I've been telling people, you know, hey, I'm going to send you the sample, but I'm going to follow up with you, and all feedback is welcome, so that they know that I want them to respond one way or another. And that's been just really successful for me. In fact, I'm going to probably post something tomorrow about giving away more free samples to see who's been watching. Let's see what else. Customer service. So I feel like if your business is sort of in a lull, take that as an opportunity, like I said, to like dig deep and to work on yourself, but also to focus on the people that still are your loyal customers. And so I found a couple things that some of you are probably doing, but that I wasn't doing, which is when I was getting new customers, of course, I was sending them a message on Facebook and thanking them and following up with people at least once a month, if not more frequently at the beginning. But I was not sending out a thank you card. And that seems like not a big deal, but it kind of is. I've purchased products from a couple of other my friends with different MLM companies, and I've gotten a thank you card, and I really appreciate that. So I've started sending out thank you cards to my customers. I also created, I have my team Facebook page, but I created a separate closed group. I called it Plexus Health and Wellness. I didn't just go in and randomly add people. I added people who are currently customers that I've talked to about Plexus, or that have given me permission to put them in a group. And I do post about Plexus, but I also just post a lot about fitness, health, wellness, things that have nothing to do with Plexus. And that's engaged a few people as well. And I feel like even if some of my customers don't always respond when I reach out to them, I can see that they're reading my posts, so they're still getting the information and just the health tips that I want them to get to be successful. So I did that. But the newest thing that I did, and I'm going to see if I think it'll let me share my screen with you guys. You might have noticed if you go into your back office, that you can send people incentives. Has anyone discovered that yet?
I don't think I have, no.
Okay, so this is really cool. So I'm going to show you where you can get more information on how to do it. If you go on to the Tools tab in your back office and go into Library, and I just discovered this as I was just kind of like, oh, I wonder what's out there since they've added some. Actually, I was looking for Leaders Retreat information, and I stumbled across it. So if you scroll down a little bit and you go to, where is it at? Under Plexus Pay Portal, it's how to use incentives. And this is going to give you a step-by-step on how you can use incentives, but it's really cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to log into your Pay Portal, and I had it up, but I'll do it again. So if you go into your Pay Portal and log in, just like you normally would. Sorry, thanks for being patient with me. Okay, and you scroll down and you can see this part. It says send an incentive payment. And you click on the gray bar, and the first time through it kind of gives you directions. But what's going to happen is I can send an incentive basically to anyone. So I could send an incentive to one of my ambassadors. I could send an incentive to a current customer, or I could send an incentive to a prospect that is not even currently a Plexus customer. Now, I spent up all my funds because money burns a hole in my pocket. But earlier today when I tried this out, I still had $30 left. So the incentive comes right out of your Pay Portal funds. So what I did was I went into my customer report, and I decided that I was going to pick 3 people that were customers, and some of them were customers for 3 or 4 months, and then they just dropped off in May for whatever reason. And to try to kind of regenerate and re-engage them, or maybe people that just haven't reordered products in a while, I sent them an incentive, a $10 incentive. So it's basically like a $10 gift card that they can use towards a product purchase on your website. So it's really easy. You just go in and type in their first and last name and their email. If they are one of your customers or have been a customer, and you go on into your reports in your customer report, their email is there. Of course, if you had a prospect that you haven't yet, isn't a customer, you could just ask them for their email or find it on Facebook. So you put their email address in, you put the amount of the incentive, or think of it as a gift card, and then it defaults to a 30-day from now expiration date, but you can make the expiration date in up to 6 months from now. So because have a goal that I'm working towards Leaders Retreat, I kept my expiration date at the 30 days because I want people to order products before the end of August. And then the first time that you go in, you have to put in not the whole shopmyplexus.com, just your part of the replicated website. And then after that, it saves it. And then you can do, I think it's 150 character personal message. So I have one current customer that's been pretty good, but I haven't been able to even get her jump on board with preferred customer. So I just sent her a message and said, now I can't even remember what I said. Just, hey, I was just thinking about you, wanted to send you a little gift for being a loyal customer. Hope you enjoy. For two people that were preferred customers for like 4 or 5 months, and I don't know what happened to them, and I followed up with them several times and haven't got anything. I just sent a really quick message and said, hey, I was just thinking of you, wanted to send you this gift should you decide to give Plexus another try, with a little smiley face. And then you just hit continue, and it sends it like an electronic gift card right to their email, and it's automatically connected to your website. So a couple of caveats. The only thing I don't know is once they use it, does that $10 still go towards my PV, or does it deduct it out of my PV? Either way, I still feel like it's a gain for me and for them if they go in and order products. But say I sent each of my people a $10 incentive. They can't use like $5 now and $5 later. They have to use the whole amount in one purchase. And if they only use $5, then the other $5 goes back into your pay portal. Let's say I send this incentive to people and they don't use it by the expiration date, which was August 24th, then it automatically goes back into my pay portal. So I don't lose it if they don't use it. But I know if someone sends me a $10 gift card, I'm sure going to use it. So I'm hoping that it might be a way to re-engage people. And maybe another way I know a lot of us will give out like freebies to try to generate or incentives for ambassadors. It's a super easy way to not have that lag of mailing it or putting cash or a check in the mail. You can send them an incentive, and they can I guess the only bad thing about sending an ambassador an incentive, I guess you would probably have to put in their website so that they can use it on their own purchase, if that makes sense. So that's something new that I'm trying. And in a minute, I want if anyone else is doing some awesome things that they want to share, they have questions. But I just wanted to wrap up by, sort of what kept me going. The first thing is my amazing friends on this team, both friends that I've known for a long time and new friends that I've made through Plexus. Just knowing that I have a support of people that are going to, be there to pick me up if I'm feeling a little down has kept me going. But also knowing now I have a team, and I have a team that depends on me to keep going. So that's kept me going. And then just keeping the vision of what is possible. Nicole, I just shared on my Facebook page that Forbes magazine article about
I like that one.
It's awesome. And I've read a lot about how the prediction is in the next 5 to 10 years that multi-level marketing is just going to take over. So that really keeps me going, that I'm onto something and that we have the best comp plan out there. That's really kept me going. Tapping back into my why. We've talked about that. Just, the why that makes you cry, that your why needs to be bigger than your why not. That has kept me going. And knowing, this is huge for me. I always keep this in my mind, that on average, those who stick with it will be at the top in 2 to 5 years. Like that, you guys, is really nothing. I mean, most of us are 30 something or older. We've already invested way more than 5 years into whatever, if Plexus isn't your full-time gig, your other career. And for me, I'm like, these people aren't paying me enough to deal with all this stuff. So 2 to 5 years is nothing. To me, it's going to be worth the blood, sweat, and tears. So that really keeps me going. And I think just my belief in the law of attraction. And I have blown myself away with this more times than one. And I believe that people are attracted to confidence. They're attracted to success. They're attracted to positivity, and they're attracted to momentum. And I've posted about this before, or messaged on days when my kids have been sick, or I've just taken off work during the school year and I've stayed home and worked my business hard. I seriously just start getting random messages from people out of the woodwork. So how has that worked for me? Well, I did sign 2 new ambassadors this month. My team has signed a total of 4, so we're moving along. And I've gotten 4 new customers this month, like just within the past couple weeks. And I have hopefully 3 or 4 more that I'm going to get on board. So I'm not quite up close to that 2,000 PV mark, but I'm getting a lot closer because I feel like I've made some of these shifts, and mindset is just, really huge. And just telling myself that there are no excuses, because excuses are what keep you from moving forward. They keep you stuck, and I think drag you down even further. And I'm not, where I want to be, but I'm still a work in progress. And I feel like I always will be. But for me, I'm just never going to stop growing and pushing myself and learning. So that's what I've got. Does anyone else have any other tips to share? Any questions? I know a lot of you are super smart, savvy, and you have great ideas. So
no, Tara, I thought that was awesome. I love that the incentive. I think there's still so much in the new back office and the resource library that, just to take some time and sit down and kind of dig deep in. But I think that's great. And I think it's a good motivator, kind of like what you did with customers that might have been inactive. I mean, that might give them the push or the jolt to kind of say, okay, like I'm going to try this again, or, nice of her to think of me. I'm going to go ahead and give this another try. But I think that's a great idea.
But it's more affordable than giving away a free product, because
right.
I just gave an incentive to 3 people for what I would have paid to send one person one product. So.
Right. Yeah, it does. It does get a little, it really depends on how much supply you have when it starts, with free samples. I think that I have kind of, in the beginning, I was doing all the trial packs, and then I slowly learned that people are going to decide whether they want this with 1 sample or 3. So I tend to kind of jump right when somebody says that they're interested. Right off the bat, I'll send them something. But kind of similar to you as well, there's a lot of times where it does go crickets, and then it's like, okay, well, maybe that means that, in a couple months they'll reach out to me when they're ready, or maybe they won't, and they did give it a try. But you're right when you say it is not for everyone, but those who want to do it, it might not be the right time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions or anything that you've discovered that you want to share with all of us to kind of get through maybe those lulls or those tough times, or to persevere? I definitely want to say again, if you have not already seen, or even if you have, Sarah Marble's How to Quit Quitting, write it down, look it up on YouTube.
That's a good idea, because after I post the link to this call, I'll post that underneath there to watch it.
It was good. It's about 30 minutes, but it is so worth it. It's great. It was great.
I did want to say I just did a 3-way call with Jen Hawkins and our new ambassadors, and she had mentioned never end something with "let me know if you have any questions," because that just kind of leaves it an open window. Instead, say, what questions do you have? Do you have questions on this? You can start listing things that they might have questions on. That way you're going through maybe every objection, and you're hitting it before they even have the chance to ask about it. Then they can read it. So that was kind of eye-opening for me, because I tend to, that's kind of like my closing line of, let me know if you have any questions. But so it's a really good shift in mindset.
That's a good tip.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you so much. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything?
This is Marty. I'll just chime in really quick and say, Tara, this was wonderful, and I can relate on a lot of levels, and you're definitely an inspiration, so way to go. Really, really great presentation.
Marty. And you're rocking it. Hey, Marty, I had a question for you while you're on. This is a good tip. So I did see on the team page that you had posted your thank you cards and your sample cards. Where did you get those from?
I got them on a shop at Etsy, and I actually just sent one of my new ambassadors the links, so I can easily share that on our team page if you guys are interested.
Yes, I was looking at it again today. I'm like, oh, I need to do that, because I'm almost out of the thank you cards that came with the success kit, which I probably should have used back in January when I got the success kit. That's okay, better late than never. Anyone else?
No, this was great, Tara. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Hang in there.
Thank you.
It's better, I swear. It's awesome. We'll get through the summer, and then everyone is going to see the vision.
Yes. I think the back to school special, hopefully if they do it as a corporate wide, that always is such a great time.
Yeah.
So
all right.
thank you so much.
Have a
Bye.
good week, everybody.
Bye.